Now, in this course, we would be completing everything which you need to get started with programming in Java. So now let's begin with the introduction PPT, wherein we would be just having an idea about what Java is and like how we would be using it. Okay, you will first get the course outline. That is, we would be starting up with the core Java concepts over here. Okay, so in this we would be like starting from the basics, like how to print something using a Java program, or how to take the input from the user, how to do some processing on that input. Again, we would see how to use different kind of operators over here. We would also look at the different conditional constructs. That is, if we have to like perform some conditional thing, like suppose we want to check if a particular variable value is less than or equal to some particular value, or we want to perform some kind of a calculation over there or comparison over there, then how would we do that? So we would see all that conditional constructs over here. Okay, then similarly, we will also be creating many different projects. So we have here the first one, that is the create ATM machine example. So over here, we would be creating a Java program and we would be like coding all the algorithms which are needed for creating the ATM machine example. Then over here, you can see there are just differentiated over here because the next 4 projects which are there, which will be basically for our paid users. Free users, that is for the first 10 sessions, you would be learning the core Java concepts and one project of creating ATM machine. Okay. Then we would be covering various examples like a game of creating a snake game, creating a login page example in which you can give the database connectivity also. Like this is more like important over here because nowadays on every website we have the login page in which we have to create our credentials, and the same credentials are then later used, right? So how to create that login page in the front end, how will you give a database connectivity to the particular login page, all those things we will be covering in this particular login page example. Then we would be also creating 2 more projects wherein we have the employee management system over here, like managing your employee data and everything, and the attendance management system, mini payroll system, you can see. Okay, let's move on further and we will understand over here the first session that we are going to cover today. Okay, it would be starting with the introduction to Java. Then we would be also learning about the Java code execution, how it does in background and everything. We'll also proceed with simple algorithms. Okay. Also, I would be sharing in between some tips to, some shortcuts which you can use for coding and programming. Fine. You'll also learn to write good codes just as professionals do. Okay. So let's understand what are classes in Java, what are variables, what are the different types of data types we have in Java, what operators do we have in Java. Now let's just move further and understand about Java, the history about Java. Okay. It was created in the year 1995 and it is the most popular programming language. Okay. It is owned by Oracle. Fine. Moving ahead. Now, where can you use Java? If you see, approx everywhere. You can use it in mobile applications. You can use it in desktop applications, your web applications, creating games, many more. It is basically like it works on various platforms also. Like you have a machine on Windows machine, your Java course would work on that also. If you have a Mac machine, if you have a Linux machine, a Raspberry Pi, etc., any OS you have, Java programs work on all the operating systems. Okay, so it is basically super easy to learn. It is an open source and free. So there is no licenses which you want to use for downloading and installing it. You can basically directly go and install that. It is much secure. Okay, it is a most powerful and a fast language which you can learn. And most important, it is object-oriented programming. Basically, we call it as OOPS concept. Okay, it surely carries on or goes ahead using the OOPS concept, and it allows you for code reusability. So if one code I have written in my whole Java application, I can use it many times. So it saves as a programmer time for me to code it again. Also remember one thing, Java is a case-sensitive language. Okay, so some things like some rules you will have to follow when you're creating your Java examples or you're working on your Java application.